streaming just about.
We're live, there we go.
Well, hello everyone.
Hey, Facebook.
Hey, Facebook, yes. We're going to start opening some wine while everybody gets logged in. Oh, should we turn the volume off?
I turn the volume down so everybody does it.
So, So we're making a tomato eggplant sauce today.
Chrissy P just logged in.
Hey, Chrissy P.
Laurie's here.
Laurie, hi.
Tanya.
Tanya, hi.
Aubrey.
Aubrey. We're just getting started with some wine first. Priorities, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. And cheers to everyone as we get started. So through this, there's basically 3 phases to this recipe. And the longest one is at the end, the third phase. It's about a 20 to 30 minute saute time. So then I'll ask most of the questions during the time. But if you have some pertinent, I know some of you are following me as I chop and cook, so I didn't pre-prep a lot of stuff just so that you guys can keep up. And we'll go from there if you have questions and you need anything. So we're going to start by actually prepping the eggplant. We're going to slice that up. And I know some people said they I think somebody out there said earlier that they couldn't get eggplant. I know times of grocery stores have various things or didn't have various things. And they asked what else they could use. So, really this dish was designed to be an eggplant, and celebrate the eggplant. But if you still wanted to make a sauce that is really earthy and rich and delicious, you could take this same recipe and put in a mushroom. I would highly recommend, my favorite is a shiitake mushroom. It's got a nice mild yet earthy flavor. Those can be a little bit difficult to find sometimes, depending on the grocery store. So I know we talked about portobello mushrooms. If you are going to do a portobello mushroom, the underlining, we call these the gills. The gills will turn the sauce, and anytime you're cooking with them, you should remove the gills, because the gills are what have like a lot of dark dye in them. And so you just take a spoon and just rub across it, and as you can see, it'll remove those gills from the mushroom before you chop it up to use it. So that's if you're going to use portobello mushrooms. We're going to go with eggplant. We're going to just slice it up, nice long slices.
Oh, Stacey found eggplant, so we're good.
Fantastic! I'm so happy you were able to find eggplant, because really, this dish, so when we were talking about doing a cooking little demonstration, and I wanted to have something kind of simple, but I wanted something that people could prepare, and it would be a little bit of a wow, like not just a tomato sauce, or not just like any old basic, but just something that had like some depth to it. And this one, tomatoes and eggplant actually come together.
Oh, I'm going to take some pictures along the way and post those in comments so you can kind of see what he's doing. Is that okay?
So, if Mark wants to come and take a look at this, we're just slicing about an inch thick, a little less than an inch maybe, slices of the eggplant. Because we're going to try to cube this up. Okay? Okay? So just long slices. Cube it. Eggplant has a bitterness to it that you can get rid of if you pre-salt it and let it rest. 2 things that salting the eggplant does for it. It draws out the bitterness, and also it locks it in, because eggplant can be a real sponge of flavor. and take on flavors of its surrounding and not necessarily get a real good eggplant flavor. So we're going to basically just cube this up real quick. And I think I said in the recipe about a pound, which would be one large eggplant. I'm kind of going a little heavy on the eggplant, so because I have a little extra eggplant in the refrigerator that wasn't used from a previous cooking that I had done.
People want closer, babe.
What?
People want you closer.
They want me closer?
Yeah, well, they want me to get the
Okay.
camera closer.
Fantastic.
Bear with us.
You probably can't see me.
No. I'll just hold it. Okay, go.
You sure?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Okay. Because we can... Okay. I should have this in a bigger bowl. Actually, I'm going to toss this in a bigger bowl.
Yeah, I do think we need to get it up a little higher.
What?
We do need to get it up a little bit higher.
Do you want me to just grab that real quick?
Yeah.
Do you want to put that on top of this? Or is that going to be too hot?
That's gonna be way too high. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's that? So,
There we go. That was it.
Can you see me better now? Yeah, Mark?
Hold on.
Alright.
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. So we're going to just toss a little salt onto the eggplant. And just set that aside and let it rest. Okay? So, and now we'll just chop up the onion and start the saute. All right? Onion. I suppose, yeah. So basically, you can cut the end off, cut it in half. You want to peel this outer skin off. I know Mark was asking me the other day to teach him how to cut an onion better. I'll tell you the simple way is like leave one end solid. You chop the other end off, and then you're just going to cut into it, but not all the way like that. Cut in, but not all the way to the end, because then that will hold it all together. And then when you cut like this, now you got nice cubes, right? And then you can throw that end away.
Never wanted that.
Never wanted that. I usually just cut the whole thing like this. That's just because I've been doing it for many, many years. Keep your fingers curled. You don't want to chop the end of a finger off. Alright. There. Now we got a nice cubed up onion. We're going to put that right into our saute pan. We're going to turn that on. Medium heat. A couple of tablespoons.
Stacy said hold so she can open her wine.
I'm hold so you can open. Stacy, we should have had this open before that. Cheers.
Jason Schultz said you're working too hard. Take a sip of wine.
Okay. Sip of wine it is. Alright, so we got our onion chopped up in there. That was one, I like a yellow onion. You can use any onion you want. But different onions, as you know, like red onions have a good flavor but a little sweetness to them. White onions are really mild and tangy. And then my favorite is the good old-fashioned, for a dish like this especially, is a good old-fashioned yellow onion, because it's bold, it's rich, and full of lots of flavor there. Yes?
Caitlin likes our olive oil holder.
Oh, so we got this in Puerto Vallarta. It's supposed to be a tequila bottle. But I loved it, and it looked amazing, and I was like, I want that for olive oil, because I always wanted like a really cool olive oil container, and when I saw that in the store in Puerto Vallarta, we picked it up. Actually, that's the second one. The first one didn't. First trip back didn't make it. It broke in the luggage. I was stupid and put it in the luggage. Thought it was wrapped in bubble wrap. Anyways, so onion, olive oil, and a couple of cloves of garlic. So when you're selecting garlic at the store, make sure you kind of give it a squeeze. If it's soft and mushy, it's been sitting around for a while and it's old garlic. And so you really it needs to be nice and firm. I said 2 cloves of garlic, but because I'm in the middle, it's and not taking from the outer side, the cloves are much smaller. So I'm going to go with some a few more than just 2.
And how long do you hold on to garlic for, like, when you buy it like that?
I just leave it sitting on the counter. I don't know. I've never had to. No, just always using garlic. But you can leave it sit on the counter, and once you'll feel it. Like this one's starting. This older one is starting to. When you crack it open, some of the inside pieces are starting to get brown looking. They'll get soft. Like I said, when it's soft, you know it's an older garlic. You can leave the peeling on it, and then when you just crush it with the knife, the peeling just pops off. So we're just going to give it a good crush, like that, and notice how the skin just kind of comes right off.
Chrissy P wants to know where your chef coat is.
Upstairs in the closet. I've gotten too fat for it. Just kidding.
Tanya never follows the rules. She always adds extra garlic.
Oh, good. You should always add extra garlic.
Hey, Miss Lee.
All right. So we got garlic in the pan, onion sauteing. We're going to chop up our parsley. When I get the parsley from the store, I typically like flat leaf parsley, but I was at the store and they were out of flat leaf, so we had curly parsley. But when you get it and it's been sitting around, it has a tendency to get like really soft and limp. So I always give it a good fresh cut, just like you would with flowers, and throw it in some water and have that in the refrigerator just like that, in a coffee cup in some water, and it stays nice and firm and so forth. So we're just going to cut the ends off of that. And we're just going to give a good healthy chop to these. So I'm cutting 2 bunches, but I'm only going to use 1 handful at a time.
Mara asked what we're drinking.
We're drinking a Bogle Petit Syrah. I really love Bogle Winery out in California. Give them a shout out. All their wines, I've not had a bad wine from them yet. Their white wine is nice and crisp and so forth. We're going to give this a little stir. We don't want to fry it. We're trying to just cook it down. All right, we're going to take a handful of this parsley. We're going to add that to the pan. And then we're going to cook this for about...
My mom's calling. Can someone that's on Facebook, Sarah, Brandon, can you call Mom?
We're going to put the rest of this in a bowl and set it aside for later. I'm going to give this board a clean. All right. So like I said, what, 3 to 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
Starting to look nice. Good flavor. Smell. Next, we're going to add the eggplant in a minute. So our 1 pound of eggplant that we've already chopped up, salted it. It's drawing out. There's a lot of moisture there. That's great. Draws out that bitterness, like I said. It also firms it up so that it's kind of locks in that eggplant flavor. So we're going to go ahead and add that now to the pan. Along with about a half a cup. I have a little bit more than a half a cup of, because I also have a little bit more than a pound of eggplant. Chicken stock. Chicken stock, you can either buy the chicken stock in those little like quart containers. Just don't be afraid to spend some time in the grocery store and read labels. Read the ingredients on the back. You know, one that might claim to be organic and blah, blah, blah. You read the back and it's got all sorts of other ingredients in there that it's not necessary. Simple is best, right? So just read them all and get that. I, a lot of times, will use something that's called Better Than Bouillon. It's basically a condensed paste that you reconstitute in water. And it's just pure vegetable and the stock that's been reduced down to like a paste. You'll see that in the same section. And that's the one I like if I haven't made my own. And someday we'll talk about how to make your own stock, but that's a long, lengthy process.
Caitlin and Mara both said, if your spouse, significant other, doesn't like eggplant, is there another vegetable that would work? We said at the beginning, but... Yeah, in the beginning we talked about that. Yeah, you can substitute in mushrooms. Again, like I said, shiitake mushrooms would be my ideal favorite to put in this dish. A portobello mushroom, as long as you take the gills off the bottom so that it doesn't... the color will just get really black otherwise if you don't. Eric used and they said next video making stock.
Making stock, yes. So we're gonna stir that up. This so the eggplant and the chicken stock, that's gonna cook for another like 10 minutes or so, and we'll let that cook. While we're doing that, let's open up our tomatoes. Again, read the labels on the back and what's in it. For example, this one is just vine ripe tomatoes, tomato juice, and then a little bit of salt, chloride for, of course, preserving. But that's it. That's all that's in this. Some of them have lots of other little. Their ingredient list is quite a lot bit longer. So just take time, read the labels. If you're going to use canned, if you're going to use fresh, that's great. You're going to have to blanch them first and get the skin off, which is why I highly recommend canned. And if you go with a good brand, this brand I've read all the labels in the store, and this brand I tend to like. We're going to get rid of the juices. You can save the juice and use that for something else. Because what we're going to want to do is open these up and de-seed them.
I think we said it in the beginning, but Tanya did reiterate with the stock that vegetarians, you can absolutely use.
Yes, absolutely. A vegetable stock would work just fine for this to keep it vegetarian. So yeah, we're going to open these up and take the seeds out. Give them a good crush. Go ahead and toss them in there.
Now, what made you decide to do this sauce?
Like I said, I really was looking and thinking about what I wanted to show that was something unique, something that would be really flavorful. This sauce is great because it has such a rich flavor. The eggplant is such a great vegetable and underutilized sometimes, I think. And then, it just has a good earthiness. You can add some capers to this sauce. It really has some flexibility there.
Anchovies,
very Roman-like. You can use it. It doesn't have to be a pasta sauce. It can be something that you put on fish. It could be. It's something that you can freeze as well once it's made, so you can portion it up into some jars or containers or plastic, whatever, and put it in the freezer for a bit. If you wanted to make a big pot full of it, because it is a versatile sauce with lots of really good flavor, which is why I chose this one, something unique and different. So that's been cooking down. We added the tomatoes. Those are so they're kind of big and chunky right now. But as this sauce cooks down, those tomatoes are going to break apart and break down. We're going to add a little red wine. If you didn't want to put wine in, or I know there was a question on that.
Our sister-in-law, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. Congratulations. Second kid on the way. So you can use our red wine vinegar because we're also adding about a teaspoon of sugar to this, and if you are going to do vinegar, that's fine. I would add go a little heavier on the sugar. Maybe instead of a teaspoon, maybe go with a teaspoon and a half or 2 teaspoons. We're also adding a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, more parsley.
Oh, Sarah said how much of the vinegar?
So about 3 tablespoons. And basil. I almost forgot the most important part. Basil. I generally like buying the whole plant. Of course, I was at the grocery store. They didn't have any. So we're going to get the leaves. We're going to just run a knife through this. Chop it up.
Oh, one of the things we talked about the other night. Why the paprika?
Why the paprika? It's a Spanish thing. So eggplant. So paprika and eggplant and all that came from India actually, but the Spaniards fell in love with it and started cooking with it in lots of things, and so did the Greeks. And so you'll see them. So this is just a very Spanish influenced dish. So it's just a nice smoky, rich flavor and enhancement to it. So we're gonna toss in the basil, a nice big handful of it. Now normally this recipe would call for some water, but the eggplant seems to have reduced down and added enough water, so we're gonna hold off on putting any water into this. If it seemed really dry, add a little water, up to about a half a cup as needed, right? Yes?
So Nancy Vandergaan has said a couple things to this, and the last thing she said, Brian, while we are quarantined, would you do this again? I'm learning something new, and how about those potato dumplings next?
Oh, Grandma's potato dumplings. Wow, that would take a lot longer on a live Facebook feed, but that is a long, drawn-out recipe. I don't know if you knew this. Did you ever make it with your mom, Nancy? And with Grandma, your aunt? She started it's a 3-day process of just soaking the meat in a salt pack. It's a very Swedish thing, Scandinavian thing. But for those of you who don't know what potato dumplings are.
She said yes, she did.
Okay.
They're Kathy's favorite too. She loves potato dumplings.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
We have that. She gives us that pack of.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to just we're going to turn the temperature down a little bit, between low and medium. We're going to add a little bit of salt. Not too much, just because of the fact that our eggplant was already salted when we prepped earlier. And then a pinch of black pepper.
What is your philosophy when it comes to like seasoning and things like that? Salt and pepper and.
I season pretty heavily, but I mean it's teach your own, really. So take a spoon, taste it.
Chef John's on, John Inglesby.
Oh my gosh! Now I don't know. I'm embarrassed. Like you're gonna point out all the things I did wrong, but.
What's he making us over at Black Pearl?
Yeah. Aw. Everything in Key West is closed. I won't say it's here, but hang in there, everyone. We'll get through this. All right. We're gonna let that just cook down. Mark's gonna take a picture and post it.
It's not letting me post in the comments, but I will post later so you kind of see as it goes.
See it. Fantastic. Run through my list, make sure I didn't forget anything. I did not. All right. We're gonna start. So now it's gonna cook. That's gonna just simmer for a little bit, and then I'll take the lid off and let it kind of cook down, reduce down a little bit, about 15-20 minutes or so.
John said, Brian!
Hey, John! We're going to put some water in our pot to start getting that hot. We're boiling up the pasta. This particular dish, because the sauce itself is so nice and chunky, you're going to want to match that with a nice chunky kind of pasta. Although really it's an individual flavor. If you really just love angel hair pasta, I think this sauce is a little heavy for an angel hair pasta, but if that's what you like, go for it. Don't let anyone, there's no rules.
Back up just a little bit.
Back up just a little bit?
No, just a little bit.
Okay. I found this pasta the other day in the store, and I love it. It is actually from Italy, and it's just very simple. It's just a great organic durum wheat. This one's like a big ziti type. This one here has got like a fun curl to it, and it holds the sauce in a nice chunky flavor. So we'll get the water started, and add a little salt to our water. If you notice, I love salt. So I found this in an antique store. It should be hanging right there.
With your sister and brother-in-law who are now watching too.
Hey, Brenda, Joe.
Keith is on.
Keith, hi.
Not making normal mac and cheese.
Not making normal mac and cheese. Sorry, Keith. Maybe next time. I don't know that I've ever made normal mac and cheese.
Tanya said not all of us have the fancy water spout near the stove.
Yes, that was a wonderful ad when we redid the kitchen.
Penny Garcia's watching.
Hey, Penny! Wow. A lot of Key West favorites. I want to move back. Should we move back to Key West? So we're going to boil the water up. That's that. We're going to let this cook down.
Joe says not to sound eggplantily correct, but can you make this with chicken?
Well, you could put it over chicken. I would grill a chicken and, yeah. I don't like boiling chicken, so putting chicken in this would be like boiling the chicken. But you could grill up some chicken and put this on chicken. It'd be great. Delicious. Yeah, those tomatoes are really starting to cook down. That's nice. We're actually going to take the lid off and slow it down just a little bit.
That looks yummy.
It does look yummy.
So what pastas would you recommend?
What?
What kind of pastas would you recommend to serve with this?
Like I said, any like a big ziti or a big chunky pasta. Those would be my favorites with a sauce like this. You know, the sauce of the pasta, just like you're pairing wine with your food, the pasta needs to match the dish. If it's a light, thin sauce, absolutely all day long. A spaghetti, an angel hair. But if you've got something chunky, meaty, whatever, I would go with a pappardelle or a fatter, flat, long, tight noodle, or just a chunkier noodle that we're using today. I don't even know what they call this one. There's thousands of different varieties of pastas out there, thanks to the machine era. Yeah?
Stacy's right along with us. She said it smells delicious.
Good, yes. It is smelling really good.
Joe just titled our show, it's The Quarantine Chef.
Quarantine Chef. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. Any other questions? As we just let this sit here and cook.
And we sip our wine.
And sip our wine. Wait for the water to boil. I should have started this sooner.
Oh, Jonathan's on.
Jonathan, hi. What else? What else can we talk about? As we clean up our mess.
Sorry, your sous chef is filming. Oh, what type of, Nancy asked, what type of red wine did you use, or does it matter?
This was a cab. It doesn't, I like a richer red wine to get a rich flavor. You really, like some people I know will take wine that they don't like or whatever, set it aside and use it for cooking later. Or a wine that's gone bad and they'll just set it aside and use it for cooking later. I don't like to do that. Because if you didn't like the wine, you're not going to like the flavor when it gets reduced down in the sauce. If it was a bad wine then, it's going to make your dish bad. Like, use your favorite. We didn't put a lot in here, so there's still plenty for drinking along the way.
Aubrey missed the chopping of the eggplant. Can you give your tips again?
You're going to dice it. So I just cut the top off, make nice long sandwich slices, like a bread slice, and then slice that, lay those down, slice that, and then cube it up.
Stacy asked, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to get ahead, but Stacy asked if you took the skin off the eggplant, but no, you did not.
I did not.
Yes, she didn't either. Caitlin asks, what kind of cheese would you pair with it?
Cheese?
Like to top it with, I guess?
Yeah, and like to top it with, obviously, pecorino romano is always a good choice with any pasta dish. But if you want to do something a little bit more exotic, like any hard cheese, like an Asiago would be nice.
Going Spanish, could you do manchego, or is that too mild?
Yeah, no, you could do a manchego.
Mara asked to talk about your cutting board and your knife. I guess I'm assuming meaning like the style of knife you prefer.
So this is a teak wood board. It was a gift to me. I have lots of different boards that I've been, and I use all of them, believe it or not. So it's never a bad idea to give me a cutting board because I love cutting boards. This one that happens to be a teak wood board. I like it. The teak wood obviously being a really firm wood. I prefer a wood board over most other boards. All that about the bacteria growing in the crevices and stuff like that can be true. Just make sure you're just bleaching it and cleaning it. Knife-wise, this is a Japanese styled knife. This one's just a really cheap knife. In fact, the end kind of popped off once. I
have a nice sharpener.
With a nice sharpener. Just keep your blade sharp. Get yourself a little sharpener. Run the blade through it on a regular basis before every use, after the use, but just regularly.
Never dishwash.
Never dishwash your knife. But you want a blade typically that's if you want to go for a quality blade, you're looking for something that where the steel runs all the way down to the end, because that'll give you a good balance. I have bought really nice knives for friends of mine as presents for Christmas,
Joey.
But yet have never bought myself a really nice knife. I don't know why. Maybe I'm waiting for my husband to buy me one for Christmas.
I'll add it to my list.
But you can spend as much as $300-400 on a knife. I've seen knives as high as $1,000. I think that's ridiculous. I think there's some really nice knives out there.
Tanya just says something you're comfortable holding. So
yes.
Important.
Balance and comfortable holding. That's important to look for. There's a couple different. There's a chef knife out there. This is the same brand. This is what's called a chef knife. It rocks more while you're cooking, while you're chopping, whereas this is more of like a chop this way, I guess. That's all in the motion. I've discovered, I used to always use these throughout the years, and then discovered this shape and became popular, and I really like it.
Keeps it kind of nice and tight for you.
Yeah, because like I said, when you're chopping, you want to keep your knuckles curled, because when you do that, the blade just runs up and down across your knuckle, which is the side of the blade. So you're keeping your fingers away from getting chopped. But
I don't think I missed anything along the way.
all right, wow, that looks good. That's cooked down quite a bit now, and it's been about 20-30 minutes. So.
Mama Lori said, "Did you study culinary arts, or are you simply naturally gifted?"
Naturally gifted. No, so a shout out to a woman by the name of Sonia Lollemund. I don't even know if she's out there anymore. Where she's at these days. It was many years ago, decades ago, when I was young.
That many decades ago.
It was decades. Decades. It was in the 80s. I worked with a woman named Sonia Lollemund, and she was a chef, and she was just truly amazing. Her passion for culture and cuisine, and that's what I think I love about cooking, is knowing about the history and the culture in which it came from, and I really, got into Italian and the Greek, and oh, good, we're boiling. Nice rolling boil. And give that a stir. We're gonna turn this sauce off, and let that just rest now. Beautiful. And then we're gonna boil the pasta. But yeah, for me, it's about culture and about about heritage. Excuse me.
Ryan McCarthy's on.
Ryan McCarthy.
Javier Mendoza.
Javier, hi.
Virtual kisses to you guys.
So yeah, that's what about the board and the knife and about cooking. Yes, I self-taught. Just reading lots of cookbooks. I love reading cookbooks, believe it or not. I don't read a lot of books, but I do read cookbooks.
And we love moving them from place to place to place.
And Mark commented about how we love to move them from place to place because I have lots and lots of cookbooks. I like a physical cookbook. I really don't like. I go online and research stuff, but I do like reading and going through cookbooks. So we have a whole library of them.
I just need to back it up just a little bit.
There?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jeff Kilty can attest to the semantics of how you have to like
get the camera in the right position.
Get the camera right.
I know. It's well, this was our first time ever doing this, and I was a little nervous, but
I'm glad you did it.
It's fun. It's fun. We'll do this again sometime.
Always ask your husband to do something like this on the third bottle of wine.
On that third bottle of wine. Now you just threw us under a bus.
We're in quarantine.
Mark's like, I have an idea. Let's do a Facebook Live. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it. Yeah, here we are. Hi.
Robert Schmidt asks, your favorite cookbook?
My favorite cookbook? Oh, God, I got a few go-tos. I'm trying to remember the actual name of it. I pull it off the shelf and I don't. I think I'll grab it.
Go grab it.
I'll go grab it.
Leslie said you're doing a great job, so that means the kiddos are on. I have nothing to add to this. He's doing an amazing job. If it doesn't have an actual recipe attached to it, then I don't know how to cook it. He can open up the pantry and be like, an episode of Chopped and just be like, I'm gonna make this. I don't work that way, so.
The very first cookbook I ever got was one called The Silver Palette. It's two lovely ladies that were in New York and had a little deli marketplace restaurant called The Silver Palette. And they have 3 cookbooks that I'm aware of out there. This was the first one. And it's truly amazing. And they just have lots of fun story tidbits in the inside about some of the dishes and where it might have come from and different things like that, which is probably why I love it so much. And then, believe it or not, Jamie Oliver. I love the man. His cookbook, The Naked Chef, that was from, the 90s? One of my favorites. He just has lots of fun things.
Go ahead.
Another thing I like to do, if I'm trying to create something, if I get inspired by a picture or an image or something like that, or I see a recipe, I'll also look up in all my other cookbooks or online several other recipes and compare them. For even creating this one, there's several different recipes for eggplant tomato sauce, and I look at them all, I compare them, and then I'll say, oh, I like that about that dish, or I like that, I like adding that. And so I kind of create my own recipe from multiple different ones.
Caitlin wants to know your favorite chef.
Me? No.
Humble. So humble.
So humble. So humble. Favorite chef? I think I've always had a liking for Jamie Oliver as a chef when I watched his show back in the day, because he just was very just down to earth and real and just loved just cooking for his friends and stuff. That's the way the show was kind of geared around, and I really liked that, so I kind of always had that about him. Otherwise, John, you're amazing. I would definitely give a shout out to you all day long, as a great person to work with, and I really...
Y'all had a great working relationship.
Yeah, I loved working with John, and what a creative, wonderful person, so...
Ooh, and the executive chef from Proof.
Whoever that guy was, the executive chef of Proof, which no longer exists, poor little restaurant that closed. Proof, that was a great restaurant.
Chrissy P says, easier question, least favorite chef.
Oh, bam! Enough said. As he calls it, hearty coverts.
Sherry Moore says that you are such a natural. Have you ever considered appearing on Chopped?
On Chopped? Oh, they would bury me, I think. I'm not that intelligent.
That's not true. Sarah says Easton says hi.
Aw, hi Easton!
Hopefully I get to see you soon.
Yeah, someday. We got a ticket for Mark to go down to Texas, but I don't know, that might get canceled.
We'll see. Joe Simon says, come on, Chef Boyardee is the boss.
Chef Boyardee, yes. He, is that even a real person?
I don't know.
Yeah. Kind of like the Gerber baby. It doesn't really exist.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? I don't know.
Mara says we should have a Naggly Chopped.
A Naggly Chopped. Ooh, we could do that. We did talk about doing like a progressive dinner. I think we need to follow up and follow through with that one. A progressive dinner with the houses. Just go from house to house and pick a course. We could do like maybe a 6-course dinner from house to house or something.
Someday soon.
Someday soon.
Something to look forward to now.
In the summer when we can go outside. Do you want to get a couple of popsicles?
Sure.
Oh. Nice. I'm turning the dishwasher on. Alright, fantastic.
Do you follow the timing on cooking pasta, or you just kind of judge it?
I just judge it on where they say you're supposed to throw it up against the wall. If it sticks, it's good. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kidding. What was this? The bag said 10 to 12 minutes?
Yes. Oh, Caitlin O'Connor Love says he did exist. His name is, I'm going to butcher it, Boyardee. So he changed phonetically.
Oh, okay. Chef Boyardee. Got it. Yeah, it's still a little white in the middle.
A little too al dente.
A little too al dente.
Any other questions?
I should go to
What's everybody doing? This is crazy.
All cooped up in our houses.
People are saying how we drink wine in real time.
Oh, wait. No, we still have a half bottle.
Oh, we're perfectly fine.
We got we're only 2+ glasses in.
Aubrey asks, al dente pasta or soft, or does it depend on the pasta?
It depends on your liking. I'm always an al dente kind of person. I like a little firmness to the pasta. If you cook it down too much, it becomes mushy, and I think you lose the texture of the pasta. But it's what you really like. This is your dish. Make it.
Tanya goes, do you ever save some pasta water to thicken the sauce?
That is a thing. I have in the past. We didn't obviously with this one.
Because it's meant to be kind of thick, right?
Well, it's already it's thick on its own, and didn't really need the pasta water. The starch in the so those of you who've never heard of this, a lot of chefs will take the pasta water because the starch and stuff from the pasta will be in that water, and that starch then helps kind of loosen but thicken at the same time a sauce that you might be cooking.
Oh, this is a good question. Chrissy P, could you chill this and use it as a tapenade?
Yes, you could chill this use it as a tapenade. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I would cook some capers in there, and maybe even chop up some anchovy in there if you wanted to do that as a tapenade.
Put on a nice crostini.
Salty with a crostini. Oh my gosh.
Nice cracker.
All day long. That'd be great.
Nancy wants zoom in on the sauce in the pot.
Zoom in on the sauce on the pot. Yes.
You got it?
Do that. I can do that. Ready? Here we go. We're going in. So there it is. As you can see, there's like not a lot of liquid to it, but it's just good. The eggplant nice and broke down there. Lots of herbs flavor. The tomatoes, see how they just all cooked down. Nice. Leslie, you're coming over.
She's on her way.
Excellent. We'll see you soon. Oh, I don't know what I did here. Okay. There. Are we back to seeing me? Hi. All right. I think our pasta should be just about done. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. She says looks delicious.
Turn that off. Strain it.
Mara asks, do you deliver down the block or can I pick up?
Mara, come on over.
We'll put it right in front of the door. It's all yours.
All right, let's plate this up.
Oh, Stacy says hers looks like that and it tastes awesome.
Good.
Oh, Diana just signed on.
Hi, Diana. All right. Put that on there.
We miss you, Diana. How's Puerto Vallarta?
Oh, Puerto Vallarta.
We want to go back.
Yes. And never leave again. We got a little pecorino romano.
Tanya wants us to please do this again. So you're going to have to think about what next week's episode will be.
What next week's episode? And there it is. Red tomato and eggplant sauce. Fantastic. Mark will take some pictures and we'll post that. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your life at home. Cooked up. Locked in.
Cook some good food.
Let's cook some good food together later.
Bye.